What comes to your mind when you hear the word Europe? Is it the picturesque old cities where tourists enjoy cultural events or happily sample the local cuisine? Or is it the beautiful architecture and magnificent cathedrals, testimonies to the strength of the Christian church? Yes, that used to be Europe, the Christian continent. But secularization of its societies has been on the fast lane, and people have been losing their cultural identity. Within a few generations, what has been recognizably Europe for thousands of years will cease to exist. In their attempt to find meaning and self-fulfillment, people turn to New Age spiritual movements and to the occult in much greater numbers than in the US. The majority of today's young and middle-aged Europeans are firmly atheists and live their everyday lives without giving one thought to their Creator. The mass influx of refugees and migrants from predominantly Muslim countries created a financial and humanitarian crisis, and also political turmoil within and between the countries of the EU. People had to face the reality that the masses of migrants, although came for an opportunity for a better life, do not want to assimilate, but instead started to create parallel societies with values very different from and often clashing with those of Europe. Today, the fastest growing religion on the old Christian continent is Islam. Today, Europe is the place with the smallest percent of people who believe in the Christian Bible. Only about 2 in every 100 people professes that they believe in Christ. The remaining 98 of each 100 are lost souls, living their lives believing the lie. 750 million people and 98% of them are heading to hell. Hi, we are the Fehérs. My husband and I were born in Hungary, but we've been living in the States for more than 30 years now. 10 years ago, we accepted the Lord's call and devoted our lives to serving Him. We moved into a Mexican slum near Los Angeles and served high-risk kids and their families there. We helped them daily with their homework, started a Bible club for them, coached the little boys, and mentored the older ones. We even prayed with a local gang member who confided in us. But true to our original call, during those years we also served with several ministries in Hungary. We served with a ministry for the Romas, Gypsies, with Hungary's only Christian youth soccer club, with a group of Messianic Jews, and in an international center for Muslim refugees. About 5 years ago, the Lord gave us a new vision and turned the focus of our ministry completely to Europe. He gave us the vision to mobilize churches there for outreach, so they can grow and reach more people for Christ. He opened the door for us to start this in Hungary, where we already knew the language and culture. Since then, the Lord opened the doors for us to spread His gospel in the countries colored in green, and we are actively working on reaching the countries colored in yellow. Living in the US, it's almost impossible not to be exposed, not to see Christian churches, charities, ministries, helping the homeless, running soup kitchens, holding vacation Bible schools, sports programs, food drives. They are spreading the love of Jesus by serving the community in many different ways. The majority of Europeans have very little chance to see the love of Christ in action and learn about Him without actually actively looking, seeking, searching for Him somehow. Can you imagine where your faith would be if all the Bible studies, commentaries, devotionals, sermons, podcasts were only available for you in a foreign language? There are more than 40 official national languages that people speak there as their native tongue, but Christian resources in those languages are extremely scarce. So we started to search, and the Lord guided us to more and more wonderful materials that we were given access to translate for free distribution. Our first projects were translating Bible tracts because in a quick 1-minute reading, they provide a chance to raise questions in the minds of atheists and present them with the gospel. We provide these free for European churches with their contact information printed on the back and help them to organize outreach events. Of course, we have many other projects too. The Lord is really blessing us by bringing us resources available for translation and free distribution. We focus on materials that specifically address atheists, skeptics, and agnostics. We want them to open their minds and raise questions. We want to connect them to churches so they can find the one true God, Jesus Christ, instead of falling prey to all the new age hocus pocus out there. Lord, put a fire in our hearts to love His people in Europe and turn them back to Him. In 2022, we reached 40,000 people with the help of large Christian aid organizations and also helped small churches in Europe to grow. So this is our mission and the passion the Lord put into our heart. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our presentation. We know that there are many wonderful ministries you could and probably do support already. And we know that with all that is going on in our country and in the world, it is not easy to stay focused on the one task Jesus gave us, to tell those who don't know Him about His love for them. So we ask you, please pray, and if the Lord calls you to, join us in reaching the 750 million people in Europe. Thank you again, and God bless.